Welcome to the Choosing Optimism podcast as we start off the third line of our creed to make all your friends feel that there is something in them. We have a great story about some friends that connected through optimism. We're starting moving forward here. We're excited to have them on with us. I'd like to introduce our three guests today, Crystal Sheriff, Melissa, and Tina. How are you guys doing today?
We're good.
And also we have the famous, or should I say infamous, Mr. Nick Prilliman and Mr. Russ Thomas. How are you guys doing today?
Absolutely wonderful.
Well, as you know, on our first podcast, I always said I'm a sucker for quotes, and I wanted to start off with one that I found while I was doing some stuff here. To start off, it says, true friends are those who lift you up when no one else noticed you were down. And I can speak personally that my Optimist Club lifted me up through some pretty crazy times when I was going through some personal stuff. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about how our three guests connected and reconnected because of optimism. So let's start with Crystal. Crystal, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your Optimist Club, and we'll do the same with the other two, and then we'll get started how you guys all came back together.
Hey, of course, you had to choose me first.
You're on the screen right next to me, so that's where I thought I'd start.
I'm Crystal. I'm from Windsor. I've been an Optimist, part of the Optimist now for 3 years, maybe. It started out, I've known Tina and Melissa. Actually, I've known their husbands longer than I've known them. I met their husbands when I was probably 14, 15 years old. And just over the years, we've all became close friends, and our kids are all together. That's how I got involved. Tina asked if my kids wanted to be a part of the Joy Club, and I was like, yeah, I'll give them something good to do, something positive. And then here we are. 3 years later, the three of us have started our own together, and we're just hand in hand, and we're chucking away at it and doing the best that we can.
Well, very cool. Nice that you guys started an Optimist Club. It's a fun experience to start an Optimist Club. I've been a part of making one, and it's always a fun process to go through the start to finish on one of those.
Yeah, it is. It happened really fast, to say the least, but it happened, and we did it together. And I think that's what made it such a smooth flow, was the three of us together, because we all complement each other in different ways, and we all have our faults, and we all have our positives, and we build off each of those. So after 25 years of knowing each other, we know them pretty well.
Almost a quarter of a century. That's pretty impressive. Most marriages don't even last that long.
That doesn't tell you your age or anything, does it?
Yeah.
Melissa, what about you? What's your Optimist story?
Oh gosh. So I was the last one to the parade. So just like Tina had said earlier, we were recruited by her, and our friendship goes back forever. Tina and I actually had babies on the same day. So we've had the pleasure of watching our families grow, and we had life get in the way. Honestly, I'd moved out west, and my children have gotten big. I adopted, and all kinds of weird things happened. And a couple years ago, just like Crystal, Tina reached out to us and said, I got this really great thing I'm doing, and I think you'd be perfect at it. I'm pretty sure it was my second meeting, and I was already an executive. I don't know how that happened. And
we call that voluntold.
Voluntold, that is my favorite word. And as I speak, I am the charter president of the club we just formed in the same scenario. So yeah, we just created Reaching for the Stars Optimist Club of Windsor and Essex County. We couldn't be more proud, honestly. It has really brought us back together, and that's why when I saw Denise's post, I couldn't think of a better story. We've always kept in touch. We've always been phenomenal friends, but this has just really given us a reason, and we all have that same optimistic look at life, and I think it's just solidified it. So we are running on the ground right now with everything, but it really does help that we're all such good friends, but all such good pieces to our puzzles. So we're really grateful just to be here and to be able to share that.
Well, that's a very awesome thing you're doing, being charter president. I know that's a big responsibility when a new club is being started. So, Tina, it sounds like you're kind of the little ringleader that got everybody sucked into our great world here that we have of Optimus.
Just a little bit. And in all sincerity, to be quite frank and honest, Joy is truly our future for Optimist International. The biggest thing is bringing back Ohana, or bringing back family, right? And when you make it a family, you know, the members will come. They will come, and that's the biggest thing to take away from it. Now, when you have friendships that go back for years and years and years, those friendships are rekindled thanks to Optimism, right? So the biggest thing is Optimists are empowerment. We provide excellent initiatives inside of our communities. We have a lot to be proud of, you know, and our friendship for Crystal, myself, and Melissa has gone back decades, legit decades. And I watch them grow every single day. And that is the best part about our story. So.
And how long have you been an Optimist, Tina?
I've actually been an Optimist from 2015.
Oh, very
so
nice.
Pretty exciting. Yeah.
So when you guys knew each other before, how did you guys know each other beforehand, before you were all Optimists? And any of the three of you can chime in at any point. So just let us know. We don't want
I think it started, Crystal knew our husbands. Is that how it goes? And then I knew Crystal through that.
Of a band.
Yeah, and then Tina was the singer of a band of my brother-in-law.
Yes.
And so then my husband and I introduced Tina and her husband together. And and they got married, and then it's wild how all our webs kind of entangled. I don't know, am I missing any parts, guys? It's been
No, that's really it, because I mean I've known Shane and Shane since high school, and then we just they got with
and
them
literally
ladies and
Shane. Melissa and Shane literally introduced me to my husband Shane now. So
Wait, so you guys are married to Shane. That's quite hilarious.
Two of them are.
Yeah. And the best part is that they have the same initial for a middle name, and born in the same month, same year. So they have quite the story themselves. So they go way further back than we do. But
yes, they do.
The middle initial wouldn't happen to be M, just out of curiosity, because that'd be really creepy.
No, it's
okay, good. So, what are some of the stuff that your club is doing that has re-sparked some of your guys' friendships on doing stuff like that, like for fundraisers or projects or stuff like that?
So
you want to talk about it, Mel, or
you want us to talk?
I'll get as far as I can.
Okay.
So unfortunately right now in the city of Windsor, a lot of places across the world right now, the opioid crisis is really hitting a lot of families. So we are extremely proud that we have hit the ground running, and we have an opioid awareness campaign starting in August. We're over the top ecstatic about it because we actually got the idea and the thought process of it from a lovely lady named Denise in Sudbury, and she had placed a cross for her son that had passed. And so we are running with the same kind of concept here in Windsor. We are losing people daily, and it's unbelievable. So we have an amazing committee. We've actually secured a site outside of our city hall, and for the month of August, we will be placing crosses for every person that has been lost to the epidemic. So unfortunately, I lost my baby brother on Christmas Day, and these two were literally the two that showed me the article, and we have just empowered it. We've approached many different nonprofits in the city. Positive Pathways, my goodness, is really taking us under their wing and helping promote with the Opioid Awareness Day. That's August 31st. Yeah, I couldn't be more proud to be a part of such an impactful campaign that's going to happen. Anything I missed, Shirley?
We have we have one of our members, Mr. Bill McGone, actually, and he is the leader of our Joy. He is actually making the crosses out of his garage, and our Joy kids will be painting them and participating in this as well to help bring awareness at all ages. Unfortunately, it is very, very heavy in this city right now. It doesn't matter at what age. There was a 14-year-old boy that just passed due to this pandemic, or due to the epidemic, pandemic, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, for the opioid usage. It's very, very sad. We just want to bring acknowledgement to people and awareness, and you know, we want people to know that it's okay to talk about, and it's okay to get help, and it's okay to reach out to people and just, you know, be there, and it's okay to grieve people that you've lost, even if you're angry over it, you know, because of what they've done.
Yes, and the most important thing is the campaign is actually called You Are Not Alone, so that no one is ever alone in their grief or loss, but as well is never alone to feel like they can never get help. So we have many community organizations teaming with us to ensure that if someone is ready to receive recovery, that those resources are available, as well as counseling for loss or for addiction. You know, the biggest thing is removing the stigma surrounding addiction. So,
and I think that's the coolest part about teaming with Positive Pathways. It's not only showing the community, you know, all these great organizations and different avenues that they can, but it's really showing them that it's right in their backyard. It really is hitting. It's not those people. It really is something that we got to start looking at, because not only has it just overwhelmed the city, but COVID has just done such a toll on mental health, and that's our really big focus, right from young kids all the way up. So it's really cool because we have a junior, like a Joy Club, Rising for the Stars. Our teen club is Aligning for the Stars. So it's really impactful that we have incorporated them in this campaign, but also it's looking for ways that we can help them before they hit that point, right? That's my big thing, is that we want to make it just normal that people are talking. And it's been crazy the amount of outpouring stuff we've already gotten, and we have just started. So pretty cool.
Well, it's very exciting when you hit the ground running with the project and it starts to get traction after, you know, and gain stuff going on. So do you have any idea for future fundraisers or something that you guys are interested in doing, you know, as a newly formed club?
Well, we have a bunch of fundraisers actually going on right now. We partnered with I know, we never say no to anything. So we have the St. Clair Beach Optimus Club. They're raffling right now for a vehicle, which is pretty amazing that they've incorporated us, especially with being such a new club. We're really trying to get creative. COVID has definitely taught us that you got to kind of think outside the box. So our big thing is, like, we're doing yard sales. We're doing, Crystal came up with an amazing idea to do decals. It's the hashtag Happy Optimist, because we actually were formed on International Happy Optimist Day. So we have really tried to think outside the box. Our big thing is that we wanted to serve the Windsor and Essex County. So being from this area, we didn't want to seclude ourselves to one small area. We want to incorporate the whole county, because we just love inclusion. And I think that that's going to be our big focus for fundraising, is mental health awareness, but also just getting the community involved. From our kids have done walks where they're picking up garbage to, you know, donating toys for kids at Christmas. I think it's just really, like Teen said, it's bringing in that joy that whole thought of just the positive side that we really need to bring back to the community, especially after this year and a half.
We also have, come the new school year, we have started collecting school bags and school supplies. So as we see them go on sale or whatever it is, we're picking them up a little bit here, a little bit there. We're hoping to get enough bags and school supplies to fill. So when the kids go back to school, we'll probably do a drop in Windsor and then a couple out in the county at different spots for people to pick up. That's another thing we're doing with our Joy and our teen clubs. Everybody's going to be, we really, one of our biggest mottos in starting our club is that the way it should flow is the adults should be mentoring the teens and the teens should be mentoring the children. And everybody should kind of just flow together and work together. It should never be, that's your group, that's my group, and that's their group. We want it to be our group together, combined. Because if we're not teaching them, how are they going to teach the littles? And how are the littles going to learn if we're all being no? So we keep it all together and we try to work together with everybody.
Really teaching them life lessons too, right? Just that inclusion and how to teach each other and mentor each other. And it's been a really cool experience.
That's very exciting. Like I said, it's exciting when a project they have just takes traction. So, you know, kudos to you guys for just hitting the ground running.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Russ, Nick, what do you guys have to add to our lovely discussion we're having here?
Well, you know me, I always got something to say, but, you know, I heard something I thought that was kind of great. And somebody said something about inclusion. And, you know, as I think about what we do and where we go and us as optimists, you know, you sometimes underestimate the importance of including. And it makes me think about, I got the response back from one of our podcasts, and somebody says, you know, Russ, how come you got 5 old guys and just 1 lady there? And I'm thinking, you know, you don't think about that till you see this, but it's nice. I want to say welcome, ladies, because it's nice to have 1, 2, 3, 4. How many we got? 4 or 5 ladies on here. So it's nice. And I think it goes a long way to our audience to be able to say, you know, we are trying to be inclusive of those around us. And it's always important. I think that helps us to really make people feel good by including them, by finding out things about them, by sharing information, by remembering things about people, right? I mean, nothing better than when you got longtime friends like you guys, been longtime friends. I'm sure you remember little small things about each other when you see them, you know, right? And some things you can talk about, some things you can't, but I know you remember the small things that become important, like going out to lunch and knowing that you drink sweet tea or she drinks unsweet tea. And when you order, you say, you know, Crystal likes unsweet tea and Melissa likes sweet tea. So, I mean, you know, there's so many things that we have optimists that we do. And I think I'm really thankful, and I've learned a lot as you guys have. And good luck with your new club. So Nick's just dying to get in there, and he's telling me, shut up.
Well, I think it was Robert Ingersoll who said, "We rise by lifting others." And I think what's great about this story about you 3 ladies is that, you know, you were friends to begin with, and you came together in the Optimist Club, and it sounds like it even, you know, it strengthened the friendship even more because you're doing things together. And I think you know, there's, as Shane said, there's all these different quotes, and I love quotes too. There's another one I heard once says, those who are happiest are those who do the most for others. And see, I think that's the wonderful thing about being involved in optimism. And I have great friends. I mean, Russ is one of my great friends, and we became friends through being involved in optimism. And I know when the pandemic, you know, came upon us, and I'm sure it happened with you guys too, you know, I had a great support system. I mean, you know, here we were trapped in our homes, world turned upside down, but I had a great support system. My optimist friends, I had family, of course, and I talked to them, but I had a great optimist support system, and we constantly were, you know, we went on. We couldn't see each other face to face or whatever. And I think each of us encouraged, you know, ourselves as well as others around us. And I think that's the wonderful thing, this third tenet of the creed, not only our friends, but I think everyone. I mean, that's part of the great mission of Optimus International, I think, is to go out and really make a difference in other people's lives. And I think y'all three are a great demonstration of that. Great friends who came together and are doing even greater things by being involved in the Optimist. And I take my hat off to you. And I'm glad I made that challenge to you, Tina, because you went out and got I asked you for about 5, and you went out and got 25. So I think that's absolutely. Well, I'll always be grateful to you for that.
Well, I thank you for that challenge, because in all sincerity, when you first hear a challenge of 5 members as a club president, when you're first starting, you're like, okay, I can do that. But in all sincerity, it was Joy that brought 25 new members, and it was the whole model of inclusion, because once their kids got involved, they're like, hey, you really are making a difference in our community. I want to be a part of this too, so I can do it with my kids, so I can continue to teach them the best lessons in life, and that is to help others, right? So in all sincerity, even with this new club, we brought in 16 brand new optimists, and half of our board of directors is 18 and 19 years old. We really wanted to focus on the youth, because they have, in all sincerity, a whole different outlook than sometimes what we have. They simplify things to things that you never think of before. And in all sincerity, if we can impact just one person, one child, one mother, one father, one aunt, uncle, grandparent, guess what? It counts. It truly, honestly, it counts. And that is the purpose of Optimus.
And moving back to kind of to touch on some things that Russ and Nick said, when you have these Optimist clubs, for our listeners that don't know this, but when you're doing a project, you are doing this with your friends. You choose to be there to do this project to help these kids. And our Optimist club does a lot of social events. We have a night at the ballpark where we can bring our families, and the families get to enjoy the baseball, just have a night with friends. We do a float trip on the river here and have a camp out on the river. And we just do stuff like that, to make our friendships that much stronger on top of our Optimist stuff that we have going on. Because if you're not enjoying doing the things with the people you're with, there's no really point in doing it if you're not having fun and enjoying yourself. And I'm very thankful that some of my best friends that I have are Optimists in the stuff that we do here in our community. So, for our listeners out there that are, on the fence of maybe joining a club, or that's to have that friend that they want to get to join, they haven't asked yet, I encourage you to just jump right in and get it done. So, I mean, look at you guys. You've been friends for 25 years. That's, I have a friend that I've been friends with for, I think, 27 years. So we go back to when we were really, really little. So,
and I think it's also important to recognize the why. Why are you an optimist? Why did you become a member? Because in all sincerity, everybody has a different definition and a different meaning behind our own mission in Optimus. So I think that that's also important to recognize too, but it's important that you recognize each individual as they are, and in all sincerity, they're community leaders, they're advocates. So
that is a very true and accurate point. So moving forward, I know, like you said, you have projects coming up, and hopefully everything opens up so you guys are able to get out and get some stuff done. I know that down here in the States, we're being opened up a little quicker, thankfully, but
I think that's what's allowing us to really be proud, or maybe it's giving us faith in what we're doing, because everything we've done is behind a computer screen. Like, it's unbelievable how much we've tackled and accomplished so far in our short few months that we've been together, that we just can't wait. We cannot wait until we can get out there and have an actual meeting face to face, whether it's 6 feet apart from everybody and we can't do anything even close to each other. But I honestly cannot wait for the moment that we can actually do that, because just to see the power that's already been behind the passion of these people and what we've accomplished so far, I can't even imagine once we kind of get through this ugly times, but it's going to give us that reason to get through to the end. So I'm really excited.
Well, with hopefully everything the way everything's going, that day will be sooner rather than later, we hope.
Exactly.
Well, is there anything else you guys want to share with our listeners that we're moving forward about? Some stuff that you have advice for new members or people that are trying to get out there, anything such as that to get people involved in their communities?
Don't be scared and don't be afraid, right? Because you're in it together and you're in it united. And a lot of people are, you know, a little timid of joining something and joining an organization in the beginning. I've been told that actually quite a bit, and because they don't know what to think, being honest, right? They don't know what's involved, what to think. But the nice thing about Optimus is you can do whatever you want with your club, and all ideas are, they're like invited, you know, and never be scared to share an idea or a thought because it's important. So
I can tell you this taking me out of my shell a little bit because I'm a behind the scenes kind of person. You just tell me what to do and I'll get it done, but don't put me in front of the camera. It's just not my thing. I don't like to be up front and center. It's not me.
So, Crystal, we probably don't want to say something like there's 65,000 optimists that are going to view this.
It is what it is. I don't know. I can't see them, so I don't know that.
Well, and that's how this podcast got started. It all started with an idea where I called Nick and said, hey, I have this really good idea, when I should have just kept my mouth shut, because then Russ goes, hey, by the way, you're in charge of it now.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
We have a great team behind us, and I also want to say thanks to our technical support and our director / producer, Denise, behind the scenes, who keeps us yackers in line. I always tell people that she's one that makes everything flow very good, very smoothly throughout this process. So we have to give those people a shout out as well. And Sean in the background as well, making sure that we're not taking up too much of people's time, that we're also getting out there and sharing these stories. And that's the purpose of this, is to get out there and share these stories with people in your community, to let you know that everything out there is really not that bad. There are people in your communities that are out there that want to make a difference. And if you want to make a difference, all you have to do is reach out.
You know, Shane, it's one of the things that I think is wonderful about the Optimist organization is that it's a great place if you are a little bit nervous, if you are a little bit afraid of stepping out there. It's a great place because I've always found it's a very safe environment to practice these kind of things. You know, I don't know how much this organization has helped my career, because I've been involved in it almost 35 years. And I came in, I really went to my first meeting to really say thank you, but no thank you, because I'd been invited to a charter meeting for a new club. And I went there and I listened to this gentleman talk, and he was telling about all the wonderful things we did for children. And I thought, oh, that's good. That's good. But the thing that got me, that hooked me, he said, come, give us a little bit of your time, and I promise you we'll make you a better person. And I think that almost every Optimist club, I can't think of one that I've ever been involved in or ever gone to or seen. They want to see their members succeed. They want to help lift their members up in most every case. And I think that's a great thing to say about our organization, because it helps you, because you're doing it. First, you're doing it among friends. It gives you the courage, and then you can step out a little bit more. And I've seen some individuals do unbelievable things. I thought they never could. They couldn't stand up and talk. Well, I'll give you an example. My wife, for instance, was petrified to speak in front of people. I mean, I remember when she's going to school, and we would stay up half the night practicing, she was going to give a presentation. And I remember a great thing, she got involved in the Optimist. She was our president. She was the #1 president in her district. But the big thing is that a club invited her to come and make a speech, a presentation to them. And she went and did this thing. And I thought, wow, now that is something. And the Optimist really helped her because she was doing it in front of her friends. And they were helping her. And now she has no problem. She has no problem speaking in front of people. And I give the Optimist a lot of credit for helping her to, develop that. And there's just all these other things too. But I think it's just a wonderful environment to do the things where you can test, but you're testing yourself amongst friends. They're not going to laugh at you, or if they do, it's in fun. It's not, and I just think it's a great environment. I know for me, it's been a wonderful journey.
That's the purpose of our creed. If we're really living the creed, we will make all our friends feel that there is something in them, that thing, that spark to ignite that fire to make them that much better of a person.
It might be time for a shameless plug here, Shane. You're talking about making all your friends feel there's something in them. We got a great opportunity coming up. What is it? June 30th through July 3rd, the 103rd Optimist International Convention down here in Atlanta, Georgia. Nick's hometown. He's a Georgia boy from scratch. So, we're looking at, and we sure hope that our Canadian friends and family, hope something opens up there, and many of y'all can come down this way. It is an opportunity for us to be able to meet some friends and get some motivation from all those across the country. And we hope to see y'all. And if not, we'll be seeing you on the Zoom, right? It's going to be virtual also. So, we invite everybody out there, all 65,000 of you, to take part in our Optimist International Convention. And it's pretty inexpensive by Zoom. And those that are coming in are going to be able to see everybody. We'll be seeing it face to face. Nick and I are back together doing a little videos in the same room. So, people are excited. They're ready to get out. They're ready to help. They're ready to serve because they've learned and they found out that, what in need really is about. And we've all been through that through this pandemic. So here in the United States, we're really fortunate that we're opening up. In Georgia here, at least a little town I'm in, we're 100% out. And, it's amazing how good you feel. So I'd like to, again, I thank our guest here. It's been a great experience. We're glad you're here with us. We can't help to and want to hear more from you. And Sean, when I said those 5 old guys, that guy was talking about you too. So I can't understand that. He didn't.
I figured as much, Russ.
He included us all. He included us all when he said 5 old guys.
Well, we would also like to thank you as well for your time too in doing the podcast as well for the viewers. Thank you.
It's just another way to reach out with all the things going on. Just one more way to reach out and get our message out there.
Thank you. And thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Well, and I always like to end with a quote before we start doing our closing stuff, but I think that this quote sums you 3 up to a perfect T after our conversation today. A strong friendship doesn't need daily conversation or being together. As long as the relationship lives in the heart, true friends never part. I think that sums up everybody to a T, because I know that I don't get to see, Nick. I've only seen Nick one time in person at an international convention, but I talk to him on the phone at least a couple times a month. And I know that there's friends that I haven't talked to for quite a while, but as soon as I call them or see them, they're so excited to hear from me. And it's an hour on the phone too before we realize and, go on our way. But I think people, especially through this pandemic, are starting to realize that the friendship is still there and they can't wait to get out and see everybody and make things better. Because if you're a true friend, it never parts.
It's the truth. And it's funny because we did lose touch, especially when I was going back to school and nursing. But in all sincerity, your core friends will always come back. So it just takes a phone call or a simple reach out. So it's true.
Well, for all of our optimists listening out there, we're still looking for your optimist story. You can send them to us at podcast@optimist.org is our email address. It goes right to our podcast team so we can start sorting through those, because we can't wait to start that little program on our going forward of when your defining moment was of being an optimist. So we can't wait to read some of these and get some people on here to get things going. I'd like to thank Crystal and Tina and Melissa for coming on our program today. And just we're looking forward to continuing to break down our creed and moving forward. And with that, we just remind you to continue to choose optimism